tell me the colour of G7?
Okay, so A1 I know is dark, so A1 is dark, B1 is light, C1 is dark, D1 is light, E1 is dark, G1 is light. So if G1 is light, G2 is dark, G3 will be light. Wait, if I jump, G3 light, G5 light, G7 light, G7 light.
Okay, E2,
Light,
A7,
dark,
G4.
light,
And can you tell me where the knight can go from E5?
from E5 it can go to D3, F3, G4, G6, F7, D7, C6, C4.
And from G7?
From G7 it can go to E8, E6, F5, H5. The difference between the first and the second clip that you just watched was that the second one was recorded really after I've done a training to build a mental image of a chessboard. So in this video I'm going to explain why I did this and how you can also do it to take your chess skills to the next level. Most content on YouTube is about high-level games, tactics, openings, but really when I was looking at my own games and trying to figure out how I could improve my level, I realized that my calculation was pretty bad, really leading to more blunders that I would like to. For me, and I can imagine for most chess beginners, the easiest way really to calculate the best move I want to make in a game was to have a chessboard in front of me, having all the pieces and be able to move them around until I can figure out, okay, this is the best move I can do. But really, when you're in a game, you cannot do that. You need to make all the moves within your mind. The reality is that the chess thinking process happens all up here. So after doing some research, my theory is that the least you rely on a chessboard being in front of you to complete your chess thinking process, the better you are at calculating moves, and therefore the better players you will be. This is probably why chess masters can be blindfolded and still play an entire game and calculate all the moves very accurately. And that is because they don't rely on a chessboard in front of them to do all those calculations. Now, after this research, I realized that the first step for me to stop relying on a chessboard to make those calculations was to build a mental image of a chessboard. But now the question is, how do we go about building that mental image of a chessboard? And this is when the two clips that you've watched at the beginning come into place, because it was really a before and after I've done the training, and you can see in the second clip I was able to clearly visualize each of the squares and then recall the color. This is thanks to the training that I've done that really helped me build a mental image of the 64 squares that makes up a chessboard. So you may want to stick around if you want to find out how you can also do it in just under 4 hours of training. And towards the end of the video I will show you a couple of very interesting ways to really see how much you have improved as a result of this training. Now this exercise is very simple. Forget about the pieces, forget about everything else, and really focus on learning each of the squares and its corresponding color. Now, just so we are clear, the actual point is not to learn the colors, but actually that will lead you to really build a mental image that we've been talking about. So the first step is to get hold of a chessboard. Now, you don't want any chessboard. You want firstly to be a digital version. Secondly, you want it in black and white. And thirdly, you really want the coordinates to be within the boundaries of each of the squares rather than what you have usually, which is the letters at the bottom, and on either of the sides you will have the numbers. So you want that version with the coordinates within the chess square. And the reason for that is that after going through the training, I realized that those characteristics really help to build that connection between the coordinate and the color of the square. So the second step is to find a way to get the coordinates in a random way, in a random order. And if you have a partner with enough patience, then great. In my case, I decided to do it on my own, to really do it at my own pace. So if you want to do it on your own, I recommend an app called Quizlet. This is a free app available both in iOS and Android. And once you download it, it will ask you if you want to upgrade. You have a bunch of premium features, but really for the purpose of this exercise, it's completely fine, the free version. So the way I recommend to start learning the colors of each of the square is going row by row, and you do 30 minutes a day for a total of 8 days. And you can try and do it all in a row, the 4 hours, or do it a different time every day. But really I found this way to be the most effective way. So the first day you take your virtual chessboard and you start learning the first row, and you can do it from starting from from A1 to D1 and then from E1 to H1. So then what you do, you go to the app and you create a study set and you put all the coordinates and then you test yourself until you have fully learned it. So the challenge that I set for myself was that I need to be able to recall the color and the position for all of the 8 squares in the first row, and I needed to do that in 12 seconds before I could call it a day. Now the second day, I would follow exactly the same process to learn the second row. I will create a study set for that row and really practice it. And now once I have learned the second row, I will then go and create another study set with both rows combined, and I will try to answer that, the same, the color and the location for all of the now 16 squares on that color in that new study set, and then following the rule of 1.5 seconds per square, I will try to do it in under 24 seconds. And you get it now. So you do the same process for 8 of the rows, and basically at the end you should have a study set for each of the rows with the coordinates, and also a massive study set with all of the 8 rows combined in one study set. And I know it can sound too obvious of an exercise, because really a chessboard is black and white, so it's not like there are many colors or anything. But and if you try, there are ways to deduce and do it kind of a shortcut. But that's, if you do that, you're not going to learn it. Like for instance, if you associate A with 1, B with 2, and so on and so forth, and the numbers as they are, then you can, there is a rule, for instance, that odd with odd and even with even is a dark square and everything else is white. But the problem with that is that you are not building that mental image. You are not basically training your brain the right way. So again, even if it's tempting, I would encourage you to do it and do the exercise properly, which is to do the exercise properly is to really learn the association between the coordinate and its color, but also with its location. And the location is very important, because otherwise I can give you, a random coordinates and its color and you can learn it, but unless you know the location of that specific square, then is when you start mapping the entire chessboard, and that's how you do it really the right way. And so once you've gone through the process to learn the 8 rows as we've discussed, the final step is to really test yourself with a real quiz. I found a website which is called chessvideos.tv. By the way, link is in the description. But basically it gives you 25 squares, and you need to answer correctly all of the 25 squares, and then basically it times you and it tells you how long it takes you. So for comparison, I've done it myself after the training, and I think I've done just under 27 seconds. But basically following the rule of 1.5 seconds per square, if you do it in 37.5 seconds or under, I will be happy with that. Another fun thing to do is, before you go through the training without a chessboard, try to, just with your imagination, get a few random coordinates and try to move the knight, again, just with your imagination. And then after you've done this training, try to do it again, and you'll see really the massive improvement that you've done about just having that imagination and visualization of being able to see where the knight moves. Now, it's not going to be perfect because it takes a lot more practice than just 4 hours to be able to have a blindfolded game, but you will really see the difference, and I think it's a way to really appreciate the time that you've invested in here. And that's it for this video. I hope you find this useful, and if you did, please make sure to like the video. This is the first video on this channel, but I'll be uploading many more like this to help you in your journey to become a better chess player by showing you the learnings of my journey. So I'm currently going through a very exciting experiment. So I have stopped playing chess in chess.com, or basically for that matter anywhere else. And I'm going through some visualization exercises, and then once I finish all those exercises, I'm gonna go back to be playing chess online in chess.com to really see what happens to my elo there. So make sure you subscribe if you want to find out the results of this experiment. For now, thank you very much for making all the way to the end of the video, and catch you soon.